At some point, we will be live. And I think that point is now.
Oh, hello everyone, and we are Half Rate Heroes. I am Katie Quixotic. I will be your and their DM for the day. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday morning and that you have a warm blanket and some coffee, or if you're down here, then it's just like spring weather again and that you're chilling with the window open and it's nice. I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves. We're going to go the opposite way today because we're going to do everything the opposite way today so that Graham doesn't get stuck at the end again.
Oh no, I wasn't prepared for this. Hi, my name is Graham, and I play Tazin Evrio, your Shadowfell Necromancer Wizard, and resident Sassy Pants. That's all I got.
Morning, everybody. I'm John. I am the Dwarf of Marabar, Master of the Axe, Traveler of the Plains, Enemy of the Drow, Destroyer of Shadows, Deliverer of Certain Death. Wampum Thunderbelly is now waking up.
Hi, I'm Casey H on social media. Today I'm playing the Champion of Time War, Imperial Planeswalker, Heckler of Big Fire Chickens, She Who Would Fight the Storm, Slayer of Shadows, Bane of Bashaba, Nos, the boss of Neverwinter.
Bane of Bashaba, I like it.
Bashaba. Hi, I'm Vinny. I'm playing Kale Irvine. He's a cleric.
Morning, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Lafcadio Whitehorn, the Tabaxi Warlock.
Yeah, and that is everyone. There was some talk in the Discord about wanting an overview of the current story arc, and I was not there for the beginning of that, and I forget who volunteered for it. I think it was Vinny. We're going to do a quick, story arc overview from the character's knowledge perspective, and then we'll do a more precise recap of last session after that. So go ahead.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Perfect. I love it.
So a while back, time's hard. Don't know the exact amount of time it's been. It's been a while. A while back, we were in a village. And there was a headless horseman situation going on. Heads were getting cut off by a horseman who had a head. Yeah, that's what was happening. That horseman turned out to be a fae person called the Dullahan. And was she a fae person or was she a shadow person?
I think she was.
Yeah, she was a shadow.
She was also
person,
bound by the Fae rules, right? That's why
something like that. She was an otherworldly person creature thing, and was cutting heads off because she'd been mind controlled or whatever. But anyway, we fixed all that. Don't worry about that. Everything's fine there. Afterwards, she told us, "Hey, guess what? A bunch of Shadow Kai have been disappearing. It's weird." And Tazlin's in our party, and he's a Shadow Kai, so he's like, "That is weird. I kind of want to know what's up with that." But not really though, because he doesn't really give a shit. But also, he still kind of works for the Raven Queen, like most Shadowkai do. So he was kind of compelled to go check it out. And the rest of us, we're just all best buddies with Tazin, so we're like, yeah, we'll help. We'll do anything. We're gullible. And so we went off and we found out that, Shar has been attacking, stealing Shadowkai away and attacking holy sites so that she can suck up that sweet, sweet divinity. And eventually she wants to overtake the Raven Queen. And we were told to go, deal with that. And we've been traveling around and getting boons and stuff. Well, first, the boons thing, that's where Katie came in. First, we were just defending sites without getting boons for it, just out of the kindness of our hearts, I guess. And one of the places that we went to defend was Spirit Soaring, which is a really holy place for the god of Denier, which is Kale's god. So they went to go defend Spirit Soaring, and then everything was going great. Everything was going great. Great piece of combat there. And then one of the Shadow Dragons showed up and killed all of us except for Wampum, who finished the mission by beating the shit out of everybody and jumping out a window and just running off because he's a hardcore badass and can't be killed. But the rest of us all got, saved at the last moment by divine intervention because I'm a cleric and I'm great, or also because Timora, Nos's god, decided maybe we should not die yet. And then that's when she told us, hey, you gotta go do this stuff and get these boons. Like, go to these specific sites, and each of your gods will give you divine boons. And then you use that. You take all that down, take that down to Shadowfell, and shove it right up Char's butthole. So she stops messing stuff up. Let's see. Lefcadio got a thing when he was in the Feywild for a while. That was kind of a side plot thing for Kale to see his mom and stuff. It's not important anymore. She sucks. Wampum got his thing for Moradin. He's got like a sweet axe. I don't know that Kale went and he found a library and some stuff. He found a lost library in a mountain somewhere, and he got he used the drift globe for his holy symbol. I almost said arcane focus, but that's for jerks who have no faith in anything. He used a drift globe, and he went and he found this library in Denier. There was this weird thing that happened where they were in the dark, and there was people munching on chips, and then Kale had it was darkness, but good darkness inside his drift globe, like music or something, and the song of the universe is in his drift globe or something. He doesn't know what the fuck's up with that yet.
Song of the universe.
That's
I like that.
That's where he's at with his boon. And then they were like, all right, well, let's keep going while you think about that for a while. And we went to Westgate to visit Nos's daddy in the big temple, in Fortune Boon Hall, the big temple of Timora. And there was a big party, and then some Bashaba people showed up, and we went to where their hideout was, and then I cast an earthquake spell, and I just killed everybody that was in there, probably, and we won't have to deal with them anymore.
Ever again.
And that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
You're welcome, everybody.
We probably should have put a spoiler alert before we did it.
Hey, we very specifically said overview of story arc and then recap of last session. So if someone was worried about spoilers, they should definitely not listen to the overview of the story arc. Just saying. The last thing that happened, you all went back, the party kind of finished up, and there was a sort of not shotgun wedding, but just a last minute sort of what is it called? Like a Vegas style, hey, we're here, let's do it. Which is apparently pretty common for Timoran temples to do, especially during these types of celebrations. So the last scene was that ceremony finishing up and light starting to creep over the horizon. What is everyone doing in this moment after this couple starts to they're making their exit? Who knows where they're going? Things are kind of wrapping up. The people who live in the temple and who worship Timora, all of the initiates, as well as Ryman and Madame Ophelia, are starting to kind of pack things up, get them put away, get settled down for the evening, because you make it till sunrise and then you crash, party all night and sleep till noon kind of thing. So that's what's going on right now. What are you all up to?
Probably want to find Taslin's mansion that I'm sure he made.
That's in the center of the room, right by the puppet show.
Mm-hmm.
That has the big fountain and no beds. Yeah.
No, but there's beds inside the mansion.
Well, I don't think Tasman put beds. I think he made it like a fancy throw your gold coins in my fountain so I could take them.
All right. Well, Kel doesn't know that. He's going to go find that door anyway.
But I think there's like a table because he was sitting there and studying with his new friend, whose name I may or may not have written down.
As you do with most new friends, you got to write their name down.
Of course.
I didn't write the name down.
He was too shocked because he actually made a friend.
Tasman was also too drunk.
Maybe you'll remember it when you're not drunk, or maybe you'll have to get drunk again to drunk and recall it. We'll see.
Yeah, and he tried to teach them Magnificent Mansion.
Yes. And you feel pretty confident that they have like the tools to do it and the knowledge of understanding how it works. Maybe not necessarily the like capacity to do it just yet, but they've got a good foundation for giving it a shot. They are aware of it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go up to my bed and just go into my reverie for 4 hours.
Okay. So did you make yourself a bed in your mansion, or there are no beds in your mansion?
I'm going up to the room that's not my mansion. The one that when we first got here. That has all my gear and stuff in it.
So the Magnificent Mansion, Kale, is there. The door is open and visible right next to where the puppet shows were happening. And you go inside and you do essentially find, like, there's a kitchen because there was food going on at some point. But there are no rooms, no private rooms whatsoever. You do know, of course, though, that Ryman had already extended the hospitality of the temple to all of you for as long as you needed. So you do still have the room that you slept in? Got changed in. I don't think you all slept there yet, but you had your after long travel baths and pre-party prep personal rooms, and they do have beds in them. They are meant to be to be stayed in for travelers and important people.
All right, about face.
Okay. One of those moments.
Yeah, tired, drunk.
That's fair.
Lafcadio does look for his Fortune Boon Hall room, discreetly excusing himself from the proceedings, and he wants to take a cat nap.
I knew it. I was like, please say it. Okay. And as the fuchsia and purplish light of dawn sort of fade into the orange and illuminate the golden statue, what are Wampum and Nas up to?
Wampum kind of, as Lafcadio turns to walk away, Wampum just taps him on his, just gives him a pat on the back of the shoulder and says, it's time to sleep.
And then he heads off?
Yeah.
Okay. As you part ways from Lafcadio and head towards your the room that you had been given to change in and prep in before, Ryman does stop you, and it's kind of like a calm interception where he walks into the path, and I know there's no way to keep her out of trouble, but I trust you to keep an eye on her while you're all away.
You don't even have to ask. She's always in my view. Whether she knows it or not, she's always in my view.
I appreciate that more than you know. And he reaches a hand out.
Wampum grabs it and then pulls him in for a dad hug.
Yeah. You do the warrior grasp thing, and then the pull in, and then the pat on the back kind of thing. And he'll pat your shoulders. Sleep well, friend.
You too.
Yeah, you can see the fatigue is really starting to wear in his eyes right now. He's heavily lidded, and he's kind of nods and he turns back and everything. I will in time. And makes his exit, parts ways from you.
And that's when I catch him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, Dad. I have been walking around. You should know this. I've been walking around with a very magical artifact on me. I've left it in the vault. Do not give it to anybody. It is a war pick.
Is it dangerous?
Not in and of itself, but I have been told that it could be dangerous if someone were to connect to it.
Okay.
I hid it away. It's in like the back left area underneath the particularly large mound of gold behind the trunk. But just so you know, it's there. I gotta leave it with someone, and I trust you most, so.
I will be sure to let Madame Ophelia know as well, so that it's not somehow end up in the hands of some would-be adventurer. Although I imagine if it had an air of enchantment to it, it likely wouldn't be handed out. But just in case.
Cool. Thanks. Get some rest. See you later today.
Later today. And he,
then,
go ahead.
No, you go.
Say he puts his hand on your shoulders and gives you one of those almost tearful-eyed, fatherly approval sort of faces and squeezes your shoulders and pulls you in for a hug.
I bury my face in his chest and I cling tight.
Mm-hmm.
Love
gives
you,
you a
Dad.
kiss on the forehead.
It's been so nice to see you again.
I love you too, Nas. It has been everything to see you again.
You don't let me leave without giving me a sending stone or something, okay?
We might have one of those on hand. If not, I'll send someone out to see if we can find one.
Good. Right. Day. Nighty-night. Date. Bye.
Until later.
And then as I'm walking through the courtyard to my room, I'll stop at the statue of Timora and look up at it and see the dawn reflecting off the statue and absorbing all of these amazing colors. And I'll just say, well, we're doing the best we can, Mom. I hope it's enough. And I'll walk off back to my room.
Statues ever smiling, the sort of glee that comes with fortune and the excitement of the unknown. And it's comforting. There's no, it doesn't come alive or anything, but just that sort of calm and happy expression with the sort of golden glow and the beautiful colors washing over it is a comforting sight, especially after such a long night of fun. Although there was that detour.
That reminds me a lot. That reminds me a lot of how I first laid eyes on it. Because Ryman had taken me in off the streets after being basically a homeless hobgoblin kid in the middle of Westgate. And I remember that when I saw her for the first time, I felt that way as well. Just serene for the first time ever. That things were going to be okay for the first time ever.
And I think that memory probably comes to Nas in that moment. And there's a bit of poignant nostalgia to it, because obviously there's pain behind the knowledge of why that was such a comforting moment. But at the same time, because that was such a positive turning point in your life, it's the best sort of sweet memory that gives you that contentment and that feeling that things are going to be okay. Fortune smiles upon us, or what have you. She's always watching. So you all retire to your respective rooms. Ryman and Madame Ophelia are still awake when you all go to bed. Everybody is working on, putting away leftovers, packing up all of the accoutrements associated with gambling, cards, tables, dice, things like that. And how long? So Taslin, of course, will only be in his trance for about 4 hours. But do you all have plans to wake up at any specific time, or is it kind of this has been a long night, I'm gonna wake up when I wake up, kind of thing?
I think Taslin will come out of his reverie at the 4 hour mark.
The 4-hour mark. Okay. Do you
He's
have
got
any?
pranks to pull.
He's got pranks to pull. Okay. What groundwork for these pranks are you going to lay when you get up?
Well, once Tazlin comes out of his reverie, he's pretty sure that Nas's friend that he's been pranking since the beginning is asleep at this point. So he's going to cast Ascending on her.
Okay.
Because now he knows her. He's going, "Oh, I'm sorry. Were you asleep? What a fun party. I hope you had so much fun tonight. It was spectacular. Hopefully you're sleeping well. Ha ha ha."
Is ha 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 3 words or 1
Oh,
word?
yeah, I still had enough words for the ha ha.
There are like periods in between. Ha ha ha. I wonder, does the sending spell wake someone up, or is it the sort of thing that like you get when you wake up? Has there been like an established precedent for that in
I
this
don't think
campaign?
there has.
Ooh. Okay. Let's do... Oh, it would be helpful if I opened the game on Roll20 so that I had dice available to me. Do you want high or low?
I'll go low. I'll go low this time.
Okay. Roll20 is going to take forever, so I'm just going to roll real life.
Shiny math rocks.
Okay, I rolled a 1. So, you, obviously, like, she's still in the same plane, so you're aware that, like, the chances of failure are pretty non-existent, barring, like, some sort of magical enchantment, and you feel the spell, like, successfully take hold, and after a few moments, there's this sort of, like, grumbly response, and you hear her voice in your head, and she says, "Usually when I'm woken after a long night, it's for a much more pleasant reason, but I imagine that's beyond your capacity. Good night."
Man, rough. Yeah, I've got no other pranks planned. Tazin will just mark that in the book and be like, all right.
Oh, just kidding, burn.
Whoa.
I love it. Was I frozen? I think I was frozen, wasn't I?
You're back now.
Better now, though. Okay, good. Any other plans you have while you've woken up before everybody else gets up?
I remember that I had a reverie a while ago where my vision kind of expanded outward from the scene that was kind of playing from memory. Tesla's just gonna write that down. Like, he's gonna go in like explicit detail of everything that he remembers.
Okay.
And just kind of write it on a page.
All right.
And like
Sounds
on the
good.
side notes are like question marks. Be like, definitely wasn't there to see this.
This is not normal. This is not a thing that should be happening in this memory dream.
And then he'll put like in the asterisk, be like, should probably talk to Kale about this.
Okay. Speaking of, so Kale, you go to sleep for the night. What is the last thing that's on your mind right before you fall asleep? What is Kale thinking about as he like finishes up the like probably note taking or something he does and all that, or maybe he's already done all of his note taking and he
No note taking for the day.
Okay.
It was a long night, and he cast an 8th level spell for the first time, so that was trying. He was just really tired. I think probably, I don't know. I would. You'd be thinking about. A lot of stuff happened, man.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be anything specific. It can be like a general impression. It doesn't have to be anything important. Literally, if the last thing he thinks before he goes to bed is, "Man, I'm hungry," like it's just kind of like whatever even innocuous thought that like drifts into his mind, like before slipping into unconsciousness.
Probably like there's still a lot of work to do. but fuck, I'm tired. At the end.
But I'm tired.
Just
But
for
I'm
right now. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So you can feel that sort of like heavy pull of sleep washing over you, and your limbs all feel really heavy, and you drift into sleep, and you open your eyes. You are sort of like almost lying on what seems to be like a chaise lounge. It's like almost pearlescent. There's like white threads to the upholstery, but there's silver, and there's this other more luminescent sort of like fabric or thread or whatever woven in that gives it this like brilliant like white pearl sheen. There's a very soft, perhaps silk, sort of not a blanket, but almost like a sheet, maybe, sort of draped over you. Did you go to bed in your armor, or did you? We lost Carl. um, oh no. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he would have taken his breastplate off, but the rest of the stuff would still be on, probably. Well, he would have taken the boots off for sure. That's it.
So, you when you open your eyes and you kind of like take in the view around you, the first thing that you notice is what seems to be like an expanse of water. You are almost like perched on a peak or like a cliff overhanging an ocean or a very, very vast lake. There's not the salty sort of smell in the air that you would expect from an ocean, so perhaps this is fresh water, maybe. You look down and you see that the clothing you are wearing is yours. It is very clean, and there is like a faint scent of there's a faint floral scent to it. It's a little bit mixed, just like general wildflowers and that sort of smell of like a field in the summertime. A little bit of like grassy chlorophyll smell too, as well. Not just to you, but to everything around you, despite there being like moderately low amounts of like foliage like within your view at this moment. The sky is dark, but illuminated by a bright moon. It's larger than it should be, much, much larger than it should be. The silvery luminescence reaches through the expanse of the sky, and although you can tell that it is night and this is darkness, it is a very bright darkness, and the sky has a sort of like cerulean swirl mixed in with like what might be clouds or might just be blue, shades of blue, kind of like existing and like blending together in the sky. And as you sort of like your vision like spans over to the other side of you, you see what looks to be almost like a large white, maybe like a gazebo-esque type structure up a path from you that is it's not like on a hill, but it is a vertical path that kind of like twists up and around, and there's like another sort of like mesa-esque type upper level where this white, like maybe marble sort of structure is kind of like almost glowing in the silvery light of this moon. And there are bits of flowers and grass up the side of this path. You happen to be on like what looks like a rocky sort of like outcropping, but this looks a little bit more like dirt and flora.
Dream logic. So in real life, when I have dreams, no matter how insane the things that happen in the dreams were, when I was in the dream, everything made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So But Kale's not me.
You are
So-
very in tune with your senses. There's a distinct difference between the sort of like dreamlike state that you get, or the state that you feel you are in when you're dreaming, where everything's on the boundaries of sense, and all of your sense in the concept of like everything's kind of like fuzzy when you're sleeping. There's that twinge of like ethereal or non-corporealness to everything. Your senses are all dulled, and you're like not disconnected, but it almost feels like there's a barrier between you and your direct experience when you're sleeping, and that is not present here. This feels like you've woken up, and this is where you're at, and your mind feels keen. And that's not to say that you don't have this like, am I dreaming or not sort of like thought, but there's a distinctly different feel to what you are experiencing right now than to an actual, like a typical dream that you would have. For whatever reason. Hard to say.
Okay. So you said there's like a path to the side that goes to like a marble house thing.
Yeah, it could be marble. It's hard to say. It's the like luminosity that it has, like whether because it emits light itself or because it reflects from this like overly large moon, makes it a little bit difficult to determine what material it's made out of, but it doesn't look wooden. It does look like it's like stone of some kind. It's too smooth. There's not this sort of like texture that comes with something like that.
A glowing building, let's say. All right, yeah. He'll just start walking that way up the path. I think along the way he'll probably pick up some rocks, like pebbles, and just look at them, maybe toss them to the side.
Okay. You pick one up, and the maybe because it's dark, everything has this sort of like blue wash to it. And as you pick up the small pebbles and you bring them closer to your face, they do have more of like that true sense of color to it, sort of like grayish stones. You pick one up, and it's this small, sort of like flat, almost like a worry stone type shape to it, but in a small pebble form. And it looked very like deep, like not navyish, but like a light shade of that blue. When you initially like stooped to pick it up, and as you brought it closer to your face, it looked more like a normal gray stone. And as you turn it over once in your hand, it turns into quartz.
Seems normal. Yeah, I'll just like pick up a couple, like a little handful, and just kind of like toss them to the side without really thinking about it as he's walking up this path.
Okay. So you, like you said, you just like discard it. You toss it to the side as you're walking up. Okay. So you toss it to the side, and you can like hear the initial like tiny sound of the thing impacting the dirt, and you continue your way up the path. You do notice that you're barefoot. The earth is like warm under your feet, like you would expect it to feel in like right before noon in springtime, when this actually might not be a universal experience. In Texas, the ground is easily warmed by the direct rays of our sun. And so you have that sort of like warm earth feeling, even though there's kind of like this cool breeze, and it's obviously like nighttime. So it's like sun-warmed earth, which is like distinct and like unexpected from this experience. And as you make your way up the path, and you are able to like, your field of vision like clears over the horizon line, and you're able to kind of see more like into this building. There are two people seated at what looks like a tea table almost. There's a teapot. There are a few plates with what look like some sort of food laid about. There are these very like luxurious, like overstuffed looking sort of like reclining chairs that they are sitting in as they're like talking to each other and having some sort of conversation, and periodic will reach down and like sip from a cup. What it is hard to say that they might be like consuming, because you're still far enough away that it's just kind of something you can see in the distance, like maybe like 100 feet or so. And as you like crest over and you start to like take in this view, they either finish whatever they were saying or they take notice of you and kind of like with cup in one hand and something in the other, sort of like look over to you. And one is a sort of like a taller figure. They're clothed in what almost looks like a vaguely like Roman-esque sort of like gown that's like gathered at the shoulder and is like really like long and drapey and doesn't have a whole lot of like form to it. The other one is like a shorter figure with this sort of like large, like curly, fluffy hair and a very like excitable or like pleasant and joyful expression on their face. And that really like the expression on their face really strikes you. As like far away as you still are, it's almost like an emanating presence that this joy like washes over you, and this excitement for like whatever reason you don't know, but there's kind of this like immensely like positive feeling that like impacts you when you kind of like make that like eye contact. And they set something down that was in their one hand and they like wave you over to them.
I will walk over there. No problems. Happy as are clams happy? They're not happy. What do they have to be happy about? Just happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he'll just walk up and then you tell me what happens after that. Okay. DM, please. Thank you.
So you continue on up the path, and after being like beckoned forward, you abide or agree. You continue, and you don't make it too many more steps before, like, while making eye contact with this person, it doesn't look like their mouth actually moves, but you can just sort of like hear a voice, like not even in your head, it's just everywhere and all around you, and it simply says, "You'll have to make your own way here. I'm sorry." And the like light of the moon starts to just sort of like dim slightly, and that feeling of tiredness washes over you again, and it just seems like the best idea in the world to lay down in the grass right here and go to sleep.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
Your vision sort of fades. Whether or not you manage to lie down is unclear, and you awake in the room that you fell asleep in.
Okay. Several questions. Just one right off the bat. Did Kale recognize like the shoreline or anything? Were there any details about the environment that looked familiar to him in any way?
Ooh, I don't know if it would look familiar to you. It looked like a very, very small island in the middle of an expanse of water.
That's where islands are.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, there was no, like, adjacent island. You didn't see, like, land off in the distance.
Okay, it was
nothing but this one piece of earth amidst this, like, seemingly endless sea or lake or something along those lines. And as your eyes flutter open, you don't hear anything, but you get this impression as if someone had just said something and it took you a minute to like understand. When somebody says something really quickly and you just kind of like look at them for a second and then you process and you're like, oh, okay, I know what they said. And the impression from that you get and have this feeling associated with is to the effect of like, Nas wouldn't have believed me.
Just gonna go ahead and write that down real quick. I'm imitating what he's doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I enjoy the the immersiveness on that. Lafcadio, Wampum, Nas, you all wake up after the desired amount of time. You feel incredibly rested. You all have this sort of, everyone as they wake up just has this sort of like contented feeling. You've been stressed, you've been working very hard, there have been very big events that you have been participating in or worried about and working towards, and there have been a couple of moments of reprieve amongst all of that, and this is one of those where everything feels okay. You feel like it's going to be okay. Things are going to work out. You don't know how, but you're going to figure it out.
Okay.
Well, I'm very hungry, so I'm gonna go get some breakfast.
That's fair.
Same.
Would there be in a place like this? Is there like one big sort of like mess hall for everyone where they all eat together? Does that seem more Timoran, or is it more like Madamo and Ryman are like eating breakfast over like work in their respective rooms, and everybody else is like going about their business? What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely, if you can't stay and eat, then don't. You can take your plate. But there is like there's a massive kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a table and some chairs that's like an improper dining space, and then you've got the Great Hall, which actually has like the really long table, but it's not often used unless there's like a gathering.
Yeah. So this morning, whomever wanders in for breakfast will find, or lunch as the case may be, will find the kitchen has been long since fired up. There were a few people that did go to bed early so that they were able to wake up and start taking care of people who were attending normal temple business. And they're still kind of in that sort of like brunch zone where they can make either thing for you, whatever it was for breakfast or whatever it is that they were planning to make for everyone for lunch. And you do find Ryman is not in the sort of like informal dining area, but Madame Ophelia is there, having like seems to be some like light fruit and like a roll of some kind, and she seems to be drinking. Anyone who encountered the tea that they had the night before, it would be very unmistakably the same, very aromatic tea that they had to stay awake throughout the night.
I'm going with the lunch menu.
Okay.
And before I sit down completely, I'll kind of give Madame O one of those over-the-shoulder hugs, kiss the top of her head, and say, "Morning." Go sit down.
Morning, Nas. She like reaches up and like pats your hand and like leans into it as you give her the hug, and she lets you go on about your business. Yeah. So you're able to it's a very typical simple lunch that's easy to mass produce and feed like the would-be adventurers who come through looking for help. So it's like the sort of like horse bread that's like soft loaves of bread, but it has vegetables in it. So it's like carrots and peas and stuff baked into it. So it's very like hearty and healthsome. And they have some like leftovers from the meat and vegetable tables from the night before. So they're still like well preserved. It's still like fresh food, but it's like very clearly like the maybe slightly extra salted like remnants of like what hadn't been eaten that you can take freely from whatever you would like.
Delicious. I quite like that extra leftover flavor. I don't know what it is. It's like it's always tougher the second day or something, and I like that texture.
There you go. That's fair. It's a little bit more satisfying to like rip into that way, I guess. Yeah. So whomever is taking breakfast can do so. Is there anything in particular anyone else is doing? Like Kale's taking notes, I know.
Morning, Nos. Or afternoon.
Morning, Slim. / afternoon.
Oh, you reckon we're done here? We ready to get back to Shah hunting? Did you get your
I guess. No, I did not.
visitation? No?
No, but I don't know what else to do. So, Char's not going to be waiting. So, yeah, we should probably head off.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Nos.
It's all right. We know that Mom's been under some stress lately. So, yeah.
Then the next stop would be the Shadowfell then, right?
Based off of her original information, yeah. Think so.
All right. Well, I guess when everyone wakes up, we'll make sure there isn't any other business and then head off.
Sounds good. We should probably stock up on anything that we need to go there. I remember food was a problem. Health potions. Stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Does your temple sell that stuff here? I mean, if I'm going to give money to someone, I might as well go to a good cause.
I mean, they can, but the stuff here I'd rather keep here because they tend to actually give it for free to passing adventurers. So it's kind of for that purpose.
All right. Well, I guess we'll try to find someone else who's worthy.
There are a lot of places down by the docks that sell stuff for super cheap. You can try those.
Who else has gone to eat? Is that Wampum as well? Or are you still hanging out in your room?
I'm slowly getting up.
It was a long night.
I'm taking my time.
That's fair.
Yeah. Tazin will probably come down after Wampum comes down.
Okay. There's a point during lunch where Ryman does come in, Nos, and he comes over and he gives you another hug and sort of like shoulder squeeze and tells you to, take care of yourself. I know I can't tell you to stay out of trouble, just make sure you take care of yourself, kind of like conversation.
I will try my best to make the attempt.
And he nods, and there's kind of like that like smirk of like, all right, that's all I can ask for from you specifically.
You look
kind
out
of
for
like
yourself too, because of those people with things doing the stuff coming back around. Maybe you be careful. I'm going to be worried about you.
we do have the fortune of having the entire city around us, so we will be vigilant, but I think they have been dealt a blow that has made an impact to them.
That's what I'm specifically afraid of. Is that we've made too much of an impact. But we'll see. Yeah, just keep me in the loop if you can.
Certainly. Still working on that sending stone. He reaches into like a pouch he's got. He takes out 5 small vials. Inside is like a clear liquid, but there are like tiny. When you first look at it, almost look like it's glittery water. But it's like there's tiny flecks of gold in it almost. And when you recognize that these are tiny gold flecks, you realize that this isn't like a potion that has like a shimmery quality to it. This is the Timoran holy water that takes a lot of time to make, specifically with the particular blessings and materials needed. It's pretty like time intensive. It's not something that he creates often. And you think that he was either up late doing this or woke up early to spend the time and resources to source this and create this for a lot of you. And he kind of like rolls them around in his hands for a moment, and he wraps them up in like a cloth where he wraps it around one and then lays another one next to it and wraps it again. So there's like a barrier between them. So they're very like softly packed in like a little roll basically, and they won't like clink against each other and break or anything like that. And he puts it in your hand and he says, I don't know if this will help you on your journey, but all I can do is hope and trust that Timora will be able to see you wherever it is that you go when you have something that directly ties you to her.
Oh, thanks, Dad. That's really nice of you. I really appreciate this. I'm thinking that one for each of us. Is that? Because there are 5.
That was the thought, but of course use them however you end up needing to. Hopefully you don't need them, but I think you might.
Well, thanks, Dad. Thanks for everything. Also, just again, it'd be great. Not embarrassing at all. Really proud of you.
I'm proud of you, Nas. And Timora is as well. I can tell.
Oh, Gorsh.
Hugs.
Yeah.
Do you come see me before you leave?
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't dream of doing otherwise.
I will leave you to your meal.
Okay.
Another side hug or whatever as you turn back to start eating, and he makes his exit. So then Wampum and Taslin come down. Kale, are you still chilling in your room?
Yeah, probably not at this point.
Okay.
Come down, we'll join everybody, we'll be part of the party and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So eventually everyone trickles in and you're all able to eat or not as you see fit, but gather around sort of like a table after the night's and morning's events. What do you do?
Good morning, Lafcadio. Good morning, Wampum. Good morning, Nas. Good morning, Kale.
Good morning, Taz.
What she said.
So, what happens to be our next step?
Do you still have your mansion? Is your mansion still somewhere in here?
That is a great question. I think it's up for 24 hours, so it should be.
24 hours.
Okay. I might need to use it. I was just thinking. Well, no, actually. Sorry, I got a lot on my mind. No, so we originally came here. Well, you originally pitched coming here to us as an opportunity to find people to hire to work on the library.
Oh, yeah. I had totally forgotten about that.
So...
wait, to hire people to work on what?
The Temple
of Denier
that we found in the mountains.
Oh, okay. I think this was before my time. That's okay.
No, it
Continue.
was definitely you were here for
It
that.
was like 4 episodes ago.
Oh, that temple in the mountains.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Spirit Soaring, and I was like, I wasn't here for that. Sorry, go ahead. Yep.
The one with the unicorn in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should do that for one thing, but also I need to. It's been several days. I need to get back to Loudwater, and have them pay them to fix the library there, as I promised to do. So I can do that as long as the mansion's still up. I can just pop over to Loudwater, get everything sorted out there, and then come right back.
You shouldn't go alone.
Okay, who wants to go with me? Who wants to be my bodyguard? I mean, Nos, you should probably stay here because you know the town and who to talk to and all that
Makes
stuff.
sense, yeah.
I don't mind going with you, Kale.
I think that would be necessary, right? If you wanted to come right back, you would need to use his mansion again.
Well, I could. The idea is that I would go into the mansion, and then I'm in an extra dimensional space.
Right.
And then I plane shift to Loudwater.
Then once you're in Loudwater, how do you
plane
get back?
shift back to the mansion.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I guess you could plane shift back to the mansion, couldn't you?
The math checks out. I've crunched the numbers.
All right.
But after that, I reckon our next step would be your home, right? Looking at Tesla.
Oh. Well, you see, I had this very interesting dream. And I'll pull out my little notebook, scroll to like the one entry I've made besides like my random scribbles I've had to do in the past, and he'll tear the page out and he'll slide it over to Kale.
Like face down, like
No, like face up. And he'll be like, I know that none of you dream the way elves do, for the most part. What we typically do is we recall past events in our lives, almost as a third-party observer, to kind of recollect and draw wisdom from such experiences. A few, was it weeks ago? Days ago? I don't remember. Oh, Celia, I don't remember. However, in one of my past reveries, my vision expanded beyond what I directly had experienced. Like, it's never happened to me before, and I'm uncertain what it means. There was a face on a tree that I went into more detail on my notes about.
In his notes, what's it say that this tree looks like? The face in it.
That would be up to Kitty. I think it was a woman's face, and she was smiling, and I don't remember the rest. It was a few weeks ago.
Sorry. It was. Did I put it in Roll20? I might have put it in Roll20. Let me see if I did, because I definitely meant to, but we all know how my brain works, or doesn't, as the case may be. I did not. So, I think I might have purposely decided not to do that because it was all very like dreamlike. So, there was a carving in a tree of a woman who had a like a very serene expression on her face. It was pleasant as well, like welcoming and serene. Excuse me. She had like either hair that was carved into the shapes of several leaves, or there were leaves like within her hair, almost like it was a part of her growing alongside of her hair. And her arms were like outstretched above her head and making like either like a heart, or they were just like clasped together or something like that. And it was just a carving of this person in the tree that like it wasn't something that you remember seeing when you were like having that actual memory, and that's why it stood out to you.
Could I religion check that shit?
Yeah.
Can he do it with an edge due to the notes that I wrote?
I would say he wouldn't have advantage on the roll. I think that the description is what is necessary for him to try to like put it together at all.
I rolled an at 20 anyway.
Oh, boy.
Of course you did.
31.
I wanted a 13, but she drew a 31. So you're thinking about it, and you know that like there are various people or like deities that have been worshipped in a very sort of like natural setting, and so like at first glance, this could be Shantea. This could be just like there are any number of like femme goddesses that this could represent, but the particular gesture or like the way that the hands were carved and the way that Taslan described the shape that they were making, although the shape itself didn't look like it was intentional, like it was supposed to be a square or a circle or whatever. It was the particular like curvature of the fingers and the slope of the arms into the hands that remind you of a way that Selene has been repeatedly depicted. There's usually like a moon behind her, and what's usually happening is the arms are sort of like curving up and around, like as if she's either holding the moon, or it's like, you know, the old like Renaissance era portraits where there's the like big halo thing. It's like that, but her arms are usually like around it. And although that was missing in the carving because it was in a tree, it was very it would be uncanny if that was not what somebody was referencing with that particular image and like expression and form.
Okay. Haslin. I mean, I understand this may be a private thing for you. Do you want to discuss it, just the two of us, or should it just
Yes. We can discuss it on our way to Loudwater.
Well, it'll be a really short trip, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes, sure. Anything else from anybody before we leave?
Nos, do you need help rounding folks up?
What do you mean? I was gonna wait for Kale to get back to do that because it's like his thing.
Oh, all right.
Do we have the necessary gear?
Probably to an extent. I was suggesting to Slim here this morning that we should probably stock up on like health potions and stuff.
You may also want like a wooden stake, and maybe you might want to have some weapons silvered if we're going to the Shadowfell.
Wouldn't my glaive work for that kind of stuff? It's like super magical in its own way, and like as far as I understand it, silvered weapons are just like getting a foot in the door towards making stuff magical because silver.
That's
so
fair.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're definitely more knowledgeable than me about that stuff, but I think that magical weapons will work, which we do have in abundance.
Well, I don't.
Oh. You know, we get a weapon silver?
I have this. I do have this dagger. But I think if I charge something with a dagger, I don't foresee that going very well for me.
All right, yeah.
Leave it here and get it silvered anyway. Just in case. It's always good to have a backup.
Yeah. I'll hand Nos the dagger. And, like, a pile of coins. Too lazy to count them out.
I think the official cost is 100 silver, and that includes what it takes to actually like melt down and cover the weapon, right? The blade or whatever.
100 gold, actually.
Oh, it's 100 gold.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then enough silver to like a few silver pieces.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I don't know how much gold Taslan ends up handing you, but it's definitely at least enough.
Yeah. It's probably like 300 gold. I'll deduct 350.
Gents, we're going to be shopping for supplies. Do you want us to pick anything up for you while we're out?
I need to make a couple stops of my own, so I think I can handle that much.
If you see any really cool magical staffs, I would appreciate it.
Define really cool.
Like, not a hunk of wood. Maybe magical.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'll slide another pile of gold over to Lafcadio.
That's the gold rattling across the table. This is like luckily you're in a temple of Timora, otherwise like just pulling out just like disgusting amounts of money and just like throwing it around would probably be super out of place in a lot of temples. But because this is a Timoran temple and there's literally a vault with like Scrooge McDuck style with just like gold in it, like you don't get the looks that you would get if you were perhaps in a more like librarian sort of temple of Denier, where if you just like money on the table and started shoving piles of it in places, people might stop and like sort of like, what the hell is going on over there? But yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone really takes nearly as much notice as you might expect for.
I'll give him 1,400 gold.
Okay. What can I attempt to patio?
I feel so poor now with my 429 platinum and my 519 gold pieces.
So poor. More money than a commoner will ever see in their lives.
Oh wait, I own a home.
It's a portable home.
Oh God!
But
we're
I
the
also own a
1%.
home in Waterdeep.
Oh, that's true. You're a landowner.
I know. That makes me official Material Prime.
Material Prime. Oh my god. Okay, so Taslin and Kale are going to Loudwater, and everyone else is staying here and doing some like prep shopping. Okay. Let's start with Taslin and Kale.
All right. We wander we go to the thing, we go to the mansion, get up in there, get all up inside of that, and I pull out the tuning fork, and I flick it, and it goes, oh, whatever note that is, and
Sounds like a G.
okay, and then we leave. Poof, poofed. Flash of light.
Poof. So, with Plane Shift, it's variable where you land unless you have a teleportation circle, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, are you going to one of the teleportation circles, or are you just like, Loudwater, let's see how close we can get? Boom.
Well, the only teleportation circle... No, there's a teleportation circle in Loudwater, isn't there?
Yeah, there was the Emerald Enclave one.
Harper.
I always want to...
Harper's.
What'd you say? Harper's. Yeah. See, man, I don't know why I can't, like, remember which one of those factions always that it is you all belong to. I'm like, one of the green ones, right? Because I feel like the Harpers are kind of greenish and blue or something. I don't remember. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I'll just try for that teleportation circle.
Okay. Yeah, if you're heading for that teleportation circle specifically, I don't think there's any chance of failure unless someone tried to, like, intercede. So you cast your spell, you arrive at the teleportation circle. There's a slight bit of alarm on the face of the person who seems to be, like, the regular attendant to this, because this was not telegraphed or expected. So they are behind that sort of like podium desk thing that they were sitting at before, and they look as though they're like ready to react in some way, but they recognize you from the like week that like a week ago or so that you were here for 4 or 5 days, and their posture relaxes, and they kind of just like shrug and sit back down and start flipping through like a book that they were reading.
Hello. Again, how's everything in town? Everybody okay? Everything all right?
It's about the same as it was. So people have they usually stay kind of off from here, but they've been venturing by periodically.
Okay, but is that a problem in your eyes?
It's just unusual.
Great. Okay, cool. Nice to see you. We'll be off. We start heading back down the tower, because I was at the top, I believe, of a 3-story tower. Are there other people in the tower? Or is it just the guy at the person that's teleportation circle stuff?
You know, there's basically like a small like contingent that's set up shop here. It's like if you were the like security guard at a place that nobody has any reason to bother with, and that's sort of like not complacency, but like no one's really expecting some sort of like craziness to go on in a place that's so like remote and unimportant. And so like everyone here, as opposed to maybe like a larger Harper establishment like that's in Mirabar, for instance, where there's like a certain amount of like expected like clandestine nature to everything that you're doing until you arrive inside, and then it's like They're harpers, so they're like a lively bunch, but they're still like the official. Like you go and you explain what you want, and they take care of things. And there's like not pomp and circumstance, but there's like order to it. This is like that relaxed way station, where like they're here and they're doing their job, but like there's not a lot of information to gather in a place like this. So unless something remarkable were to happen, they're just kind of like business as usualing it. They're taking care of the place. People are like walking around. It looks like some people are at a couple of like desks reading through some paperwork. There are people like taking meals. There's somebody practicing a flute in another room. You can hear the sort of like notes kind of like drifting in. They're very good over there. Very like technically accurate, and the music is pleasing to the ears. But you all sort of like, you were here recently and you explained who you were, and like not necessarily what you were doing, but like you showed your badges and stuff. And so when you two are like coming through, people like stop and they look up, and then they kind of like turn back to what they're doing unless you specifically address them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll just ignore them. Kale takes just a brief moment to lament that he gave up the blessings of knowledge so that he can't play harmonica and stuff anymore. Well, he could, but it wouldn't sound good. But then he quietly engages in conversation with Haslin about his dream. He says, I'm fairly confident that what you saw was Selune.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, she may be reaching out to all of us. I also had a dream that prominently featured Selune in a different form, I believe. So that's not something to worry about. You're just, remember back in my temple when you're sitting under the skylight?
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe a god's reaction to your burgeoning faith.
So am I supposed to do anything?
Well, maybe. But that's up to you to believe.
So, if I believe I have to do something, I just do it and hope that it's the right thing they wanted me to do all along.
You don't hope. It's a common misconception. There's a very wide berth between hope and faith.
So, I just do.
You believe.
And it is. I believe what I'm doing is correct, and thus forth it's correct.
If that's what you believe.
So I have faith, I'm doing the right thing, and because I have faith that I'm being led on a path, it's the right thing and correct?
It's not about correct or right or wrong exactly. It's just faith. You can't reason your way through it, into it, out of it, beyond it, within it, anything. It's just you have to have faith.
Okay. I feel far more confused than I was before this conversation. I won't lie to you about that.
It's a difficult concept to grasp because it's not something that you're meant to grasp. It's just faith. And as long as you have faith, then all you have to do is just act true to yourself and the faith that you have. And it's not, like I said, it's not about being right. It's not about being wrong. Don't worry about any of that stuff. I think Kale stops for a second because like somebody kind of walks by playing a flute. Just, just believe. That's all you have to do.
I mean, I know a little bit about Sunday. But I don't know much. While we walk, do you mind if you tell me what you know about her?
Sure, if that'll help, if that'll make you feel more comfortable, I will now begin to share with you all of the facts about Selune that I know.
Awesome. As we montage over to the library.
Scene wipe. Katie, you are muted right now.
I sure am, because I was typing and I didn't want to interrupt that lovely scene with a bunch of like. So, what do you think Kale would know about Selene? Like, he's a very learned individual, so even like with the like official blessing of knowledge being removed and your like proficiencies that have like been traded out and whatnot when you kind of did the like denier big ol' great trade, like that doesn't mean that the things you have learned all of a sudden disappear from your mind. So how much time would Kale have dedicated to studying the other gods in the Pantheon?
He'd probably know, I don't know, like an average scholarly amount about Selene. Like he would know some, like the basic stuff, like her portfolio, and maybe some like highlights of her history with interaction of the world that people know about. But like he wouldn't know like really deep secret legends about.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff.
And I would say even especially as like a cleric of Denier who previously had been pursuing the blessing of knowledge, like you probably even would have more than the basic understanding of the main ones, maybe like where a less studious cleric who really was just like fervently faithful towards their god would probably be aware of other gods. You probably like have a little bit more intimate knowledge of like maybe their like general realm and like scope and things like that. So I would say that you'd be able to share. Actually, go ahead and make a religion check. Let's just see how much you might have like looked into or
Also,
can recall.
Quick question. I remember when I had this reverie, she said something about find me under the full moon, and then you said the next full moon was like 2 weeks away.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have written that down.
Yeah, the dream left an impression on you at the time. So I think that if Tazlin were, whether he was a write it down or like commit it to memory type, like that's not something that's just going to slip your mind. Like, especially after like the reason why you started talking to her in the first place is because like Shar was trying to kill you or whatever. Like that's what Tazlin believes. Like you were poisoned or something and like dying and ran into her temple and were like, please save me. So, I feel like the events after that would definitely be sort of like burned into his memory at the very least. What did you roll, Kale?
26.
26. So, you know that Selene is obviously like the goddess of like associated with the moon. She's like moon, stars, navigation, wanderers, questers, seekers, also lycanthropes, because moons. She has her own realm. She's kind of like a big player. She is like related to Shar. She is like literally they're considered like sisters, although they are the lore is that they were once let me actually like read it. Let's see here. I'm like trying to like recall everything from memory here. I forget whether this was the split one or let's see here. She controls the ebbs and flows of the tide. She lives in what's her divine realm. It's a planar realm called the Gates of the Moon under the Wheel of Cosmology. Blah, 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 blah. let's see here. I had this in my mind, and of course, the minute you ask, I was like, these are in my notes. Yes, she's in constant conflict with her sister Shar, the goddess of darkness. So, Taiki and Bashaba and Timora were the split one. They're just sisters. So you know that like she's intimately like and forever connected to Shar and is in constant conflict with her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the like surface level knowledge. You also know that she's, aside from being represented by the moon, her symbol is a pair of eyes surrounded by 7 stars. Kind of like, it's like very reminiscent of the sort of like crown of stars that Lafcadio will cast periodically. And she's chaotic good. And her favorite colors, like in the temple, are blue and silver.
Okay. You mentioned the Gates of the Moon at the beginning. Is that something that Kale would know about?
Yeah. These are all the things that you would like be easily able to recall about the things you studied.
Okay, so he would probably then be reasonably certain that that's where he was in that dream he had.
You know, that seems like a really logical conclusion, or that it was some sort of place that was intended to be like an effigy of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That aside, yeah. So Kale would share all that stuff with Tazlin. Like, Tazlin, just go read the Forgotten Realms wiki real quick.
Here, read the Starter's Guide to Selene.
Right.
Selene for Dummies.
But I imagine once he's done doing that, by the time he's done doing that, they'll have made it to the town square, sort of, where Kale was trying to get to, and he wanted to find whoever that dude was that he talked to. Kale would remember his name, but I don't.
The like innkeeper, barkeep.
Sort of, yeah. Whatever guy decided, like, took it upon themselves to be the leader of everybody and be like, "How do we know you're gonna pay us money?" That's what he sounded like.
That guy. Probably. That's probably exactly what he sounded like. I honestly don't remember what voice I might have given him. So you're easily able to make your way back over there. You exit the tower where the Harpers have sort of like taken up residence, and you see the same person who's like typically on like daytime afternoon-esque like watch outside. Is still sitting there, and as you exit, they kind of like look over at you and do kind of like a nod greeting, but don't really say anything. You make your way over there, and you find the inn sort of like establishment, the inn and or tavern is everybody's taking their sort of like midday meal at this time. And if you had like taken notice of the type, like the people that had been there before, then it looks like the usual crowd. Doesn't look like there's like the town has doubled in size or anything like that. Everything seems to be kind of like basically how you happened upon it around lunchtime, like 4 or 5 days ago, essentially. Like the same person is like running the inn. People are taking their meals. There's a few people outside like hitching horses to the hitching post and such.
Okay. So I will approach that person, and if I remember correctly, when I left last time, I left some money as like a payment, like guarantee, right? Like,
yes,
however much I left. So I'll walk up to that person and say, "Hello, I'm back. Were you able to recruit, people to work on the library?"
I have to say, I'm surprised that you did return. There are some people who have expressed interest. One person in particular has already started work. They said it was a matter of faith. And there's about 3 people who, one was a little unsure. I think that was dependent upon you returning.
That one person, are they at the work site right now?
They stop and they like look around the room. The zealot one, fervent one, I don't see them here, so they're probably still there. And he points over at not almost like a middle-aged human woman who is like quietly. You don't remember seeing her last time, so like she doesn't seem like out of place here or anything, and nobody seems to be like taking notice of her. So either she was like in the background in the inn where somebody hadn't gone in to look at her, or she just wasn't around last time when you were here. And she, having not seen her before, she doesn't seem to be taking notice of you. So she's like quietly eating, but he kind of like nods over to her and says, she's in for the money. And then he looks around it again and he kind of like points over at, there's like a young, young looking, probably half elven. Doesn't look like this is like full elf or whatever you would refer to that as.
Full on elf
person. Yeah, I don't want to say like pure because that sounds weird, but like this is clearly like somebody who has like fine features and like slightly different shaped ears, but they don't look human, they don't look elven. Like something that you might feel like, I recognize this in another person. And they look really young though. They don't have the elves don't they like mature at the same rate as humans, just like elves do, but then like elves continue living on for hundreds of years, and there's like that sort of like a wisdom that starts to like reflect in their like actions and mannerisms. And half elves don't have the benefit of living for like several hundred years, and so there's still that little bit of wisdom though that comes from a longer lifespan than like a human would have. They do not have that. They seem very, very young. Mm-hmm. But they look like they either live a physical life or are maybe like a skilled laborer that works with their hands or something, because they like are of sturdy looking stock, like in contrast to this sort of like older woman who seems more like librarian-esque, for lack of a better term. So you kind of like, this one's in for sure, and that one's like a if the money's good kind of like description.
Okay, cool, good to know. Thanks for pointing them out. I'm mostly interested, I think, in that the person you referred to as a zealot briefly. So I'm gonna go check that out. But just let everyone know I came back, and consequently I am good for the rest of the money once the job is complete. But nothing. That's it. All right. Goodbye. And he'll go outside and hop on the carpet this time, and ask Tazlin to get on the carpet too. And then
I get to ride on the fast carpet this time. I'll get on.
Yep. Off we go. We'll go to the library.
Okay. My OneNote finally opened, and apparently I didn't take note of who the innkeeper's name is. So I don't know where I saved that.
We'll figure it out during the break whenever.
It's probably not important.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. So I think this is a good time to go ahead and go to break. So we'll do that, and then we'll pick back up with shopping instead of you going and meeting this person. Haha. Make you wait. Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone. We'll see you back after a few short moments. So stick around. Thanks for hanging out while we got up and stretched and got water, or did nothing but make DM notes. Whatever it was that we were doing while we were gone. Appreciate you hanging out and chilling while we reset for a bit and coming back. Carl's gonna have some words for you. I don't have anything else. Take it away.
This is Carl, and here are my words. First, I just want to say thanks to the followers who followed the first half of the session. OMFG It the Gongles, Kokoro Breaker, Mouse 1388, and AG Draco 2. Thanks for the follows. But before we get back into the stream, I just want to say thanks to our sponsors at Campaign Coins, who are great human beings who make really great metal coins. And Katie is displaying perhaps this one such coin. They make those and other accessories. You can check them out at campaigncoins.com and on Twitter at campaigncoins. If you enjoy chatting about D&D and other TTRPG type things, join the community over at our Discord. Hang out and chat with the folks who play on this channel and the folks who make up the community. Subscribers to the channel and Patreon patrons get special perks when they join. Lastly, if you want to be up to date on all our streams when they go live, or any new shows that we've got in the works, follow us on Twitter, and that is Open for Adventure on that social media platform. Those are my words.
All the words, the best words. So I think we will do quick shopping stuff and then get back to Kale and Taslin. Can I help you? Would you like something? Are you? She just keeps like popping her head back out and going back away. So what all is it that you're looking for, Lefcadio?
Potion sellers.
Potion sellers. So you're going off with Nas and looking for potions, eh?
Yep.
Okay. Nas knows the city really well. So where would you go for potions, Nas? And Lefcadio?
First place I'd go would be this place called Imrith Tower.
Okay.
No relation. That is a Harper HQ, a secret safe house.
Ooh.
The person who started it up and owned it probably isn't living anymore. But I imagine they could have kept it within the organization and handed it down to the family or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, so there's that place, and it's known specifically for selling potions.
Ah, okay. All right. So do you two discuss that you both are looking for potions and then head off together purposely, or does it just kind of happen that you're all shopping together?
I think we go together and coordinate our efforts, and I think Wampum is probably with us. He wanted to grab some things as well.
Okay. So you're able to go, and you were looking for the supreme healing potions right now? So,
Yeah.
what are you looking for, Lefcadio? Same thing?
I'm not particular. And Lefcadio, surprisingly, is not a fan of sour cream, so he probably wouldn't want the supreme healing potions.
That's fair. That's fair. So just the superiors for you at best. Gotcha. So you are able to find... You can find 3 of the Supremes at that place. Because it is Harper affiliated, you can have a 10% discount on the total cost of them. Lefcadio, how many potions would you like? Are you planning on like clearing out the lot, or is it more like, what do you have? What do I think I need?
I don't think I would need more than 5. The healing potion I feel like is, there are a couple of us who have the ability to heal people. So
Yeah.
relying on a healing potion is like last case scenario.
Yeah, they're more like the get out of death free cards. That's fair. I think I was thinking 5 would be the number of superiors that they would have on hand. So similar, do the basic cost minus 10% because it's a Harper establishment. If you're satisfied with that, then you can be done with the potions. I think you wanted a few more than that, right, Nas? You were looking for 5
I'm gonna see if I can.
ish.
I was going to see if I can track down 2 more from this other place called Gondeth's. It's Gondeth's Mageries.
Okay.
Yeah, Mageries. It's a magic shop.
Before we leave this,
Wampum is. Go ahead.
I don't know. I was given 1,400 gold pieces to shop for a cool staff. I would have totally ignored the request if he didn't give me money, but now I have money, so I have to at least, go
Take a
through the
look around.
motions anyway. It's like,
Yeah, for sure.
I totally looked, Taslin, so that I have to be able to say, are there any stabs at this establishment?
This is like a secret Harper, like cool magic shop, right, Nas?
It's mostly a potion shop. Gondeth's
Mostly
is the
potion
magic shop.
Okay, so the first place, no stabs. There's like a person who has a walking stick, not a cool staff. So you're like, maybe, probably not though. You go to the second place, a little bit more of like a magical cool stuff shop. And there, not only do you both find potions, but you do find 2 staves. I want you to roll a D100 for me.
You got it. /R. 18.
Okay. So there are 2 staves at this place. One of them is a really cool looking metal that it looks like it's been folded several times, like you would see like a sword. It has the sort of like lines of maybe steel, maybe something else that shows that it's been like folded over for strength and flexibility to an extent purposes. It has like these cool like amethysty looking crystals set into the end of it. The other one is wooden, and the other one is wooden, and it has like out of the top it extends out almost like tree branches, but on the ends of them they're like twinged in black, and they look like burnt or dead or something like that.
And those both sound cool.
They do sound cool. They look pretty cool too, on like opposite ends of the spectrum cool. Like one is like Sailor Moon cool, and one is like Hel, the goddess of the underworld cool. You do find 2 more supreme healing potions here in us. No discount at this place unless you would like to try to get one, because you don't have an affiliation with this person.
It's fine.
At least
We got a job to do and we can't fail, so I'll just fork up the money.
Fair.
How much is the metal staff?
The metal staff. When you inquire about it, they say that they were going to charge 1,700 gold for it, but there were it's not broken, but it doesn't have the enchantment on it that they were originally told, and they're not exactly sure what it does.
Perfect. So how much do you actually want for it, shopkeepers?
1275.
You got it.
Now, did Taslin say it was going to be a staff? And I'm asking Lefkadio, does he want like a staff or the silver dagger, and the silver dagger?
Well, he gave us both money, so I guess I was responsible for the staves. And I guess he gave you the knife and money for that, right?
Yeah. Hey, can y'all do that here? Can you silver a weapon and have us come pick it back up later? Or silver powder probably would work, and I'll go find a smelter and do it myself, maybe.
If you leave it here, we can have it done.
Okay. By end of day, latest.
It's a quick process.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll do that.
Okay. They essentially explained that there's like, you would think it would be a blacksmith, but in this case, it is like a jeweler that they work with, who works to, instead of crafting something, it's more like adding to it. Like you would think of like setting gems or similar to that, because you can't just like dip something in silver and hope that that just stays or whatever. So there's a bit of craft to it, but it's not exactly blacksmithing when it's already made. And that's how they do it anyway. So they can get it to you. It's like after lunchtime right now. So they're like end of day, but like late. Like they're going to hand it off and they'll probably have it back after closing time if you want to come back around like 8-ish kind of thing.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
And Wampum is looking for potions of growth.
Potions of growth. Okay. Between the 2 shops, because you've had one of these before, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the rarity of them? Is it like, what is the name of the potion? Is it actually growth? Here, actually, I'm just gonna. Oh, I have to. Growth.
Uncommon.
Then yeah. Yeah, you find a couple at both of the establishments. You would have a discount at the first one since you're a Harper.
Okay.
And uncommon is the 500 to 1,000 one, right? So with the discount, those come out to $675.
Okay.
And there are 2.
Gotcha.
Okay. Anything else that you're all looking for?
I am going to pull the shopkeeper aside
Okay.
to like a little corner.
In the Harper place or in the second one?
And the second one.
Okay.
Hey, I'm looking for more of a exotic type mount. Would you have any leads or maybe people to talk to?
In the city, they have a few rules about what the stables can have on hand. But there is a place over by the docks that I know of they're in contact with a few stables outside the city that have some more unique selections that aren't prohibited as they are within the walls.
Aye, so down you say down by the docks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on that side of town. If you head out the exit of town, or head towards the exit of town over by the docks, then there's a stable just by the like doors, like on the inside instead of on the outside of it. Just ask there for ask around there and tell them that we sent you.
Aye, I will. Thank you for the information.
Yeah. Glad to do business with you all.
And then Wampum will follow the other two back out the door.
Okay.
I've got one more stop I want to make, but it'll be real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna head back over to Aurora's Emporium and get myself a proper pickaxe.
Nice. Okay. Just like a regular, I just want to break stone pickaxe.
Well, I mean, if it's diamond tipped, even better. But
diamond tipped. Okay. Fair.
Asking a lot.
Yeah.
Get it silvered too.
A silvered pickaxe.
Silver diamond tipped adamantine pickaxe.
Totally doable. 2 weeks tops. No, I'm kidding. Pickaxe is super easy to find. One crafted with like the sort of like diamond tip that makes it a little bit like sturdier, that sort of thing. A little bit more rare. She goes and she's like, let me go take a look. They don't have anything like that just out. She goes into the back. She's there for a while. One of the other people in the shop are like pointing out other things to you and trying to encourage you to buy other things. But there's nothing else there that necessarily like catches your eye by chance. Wampum's already got his beard stuff, so he's good. Unless there's something else that you would like to look for. She comes back. She says, don't have one in hand, but there you might find, let's see here. I think there's a nearby town that does mining, if I look at the map properly. There's mountains nearby. Yeah, there we go. If you check with like the shipments coming in and out going to other towns, there's some like mining that happens around the Giants Run Mountains, and there's a few different cities like set up around there, and then smaller establishments set up nearby those where they have been like working with ores. So around the sort of like the coast here, not as much of a need for it. But if you want like a really finely crafted one with like the sort of like diamond tip like feel to it, then you might be able to go and just check with one of the merchants that's like basically like picking up their goods from like the ships. And they like before they head off further inland, they will like set up shop for like the rest of the day, sort of thing. So there's like a transient bazaar sort of thing that goes on down there, where they're like, if I can offload something before I go, A plus, but this is, something I'm taking somewhere else.
Okay. Well, thank you for the help and information. I don't really think I have the time to spare today, honestly, to go hunting for that kind of thing. Plus, I actually got the hookup with mining utilities and tools, but we are where we're at, and that's the problem. So yeah. I'll just take this run of the mill one right now.
Okay. Typical cost then. I mean, and it's like well crafted, finely made, like is a good one. It's not like you've like in this huge, big, awesome city, you found like you can't find anything that's good. Like these are like well made, but like for like a truly special one, I feel like it's not common for miners to have like diamond tipped pickaxes. Like
that's fine. That was just kind of I was just throwing that out there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hoping for the best. I had faith.
I rolled, but I rolled. Maybe I should have made you roll. Actually, you know what? Roll a D100 for me.
$62.
If you're going to be in town until the end of the day, she'll see what she can do, basically.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, if you want to stop back by like towards closing time, kind of thing, then she's gonna like put a feeler out and see if she can't find something for you.
Great, thanks. Have a nice day. Bye.
Same. Do you go seek out this other stable, Wampum?
Yes.
Okay. So you arrive. There's someone outside, like tending to a horse. They're like brushing him down. The saddle and everything is like off to the side, and they're doing the like. This is clearly like a freshly arrived horse, and they're needing to be like put away, like calm down, brush, and all that stuff for the evening. So they're like brushing this horse as you walk up.
And I'll walk up and gently pat the horse on his neck. Keeper, you do good work here, I see.
Aye, thank you. We pride ourselves in being the finest stable in the city.
I'm looking for something a little bit more rare, exotic even. You wouldn't have any contacts in this type of realm, would you?
Well, there are restrictions on what can be housed in the city. So within the city, we don't have anything other than the typical fare. But there are some local places that might have something more of what you're looking for. What specifically are you after?
I'm not sure exactly what they be called, but they have wings and they have like a beak on the front of them.
Like a griffin or a rock?
Yes, that be the word, griffin.
I think that that one might be a little bit variable. If you head west of here, probably about he like stops and he thinks within the city walls, exterior to the city walls, they're about an hour's ride away. We could lend you a horse if you tell them that we sent you, and they might have something of that nature. They tend to deal with odd creatures. Go ahead.
We do have a mission to the Feywild that we need to take care of, but when we get back, I will definitely take that recommendation and that lending of a horse.
You like mention the Feywild and their eyes get big and they're like, all right, well, perhaps we'll see you another time.
I'm hoping shortly.
Until then.
Aye, till then.
And they're kind of like, this just looks like impressive maybe, or like why would somebody go there? Like I think like common folk hear of it as like a fantastical place that's also very dangerous. So they're like, oof, good luck, hope to see you coming back kind of thing. Yeah, anything else everyone's looking for? Nope. Okay. Kale and Taslin, you are making a beeline for the little library that you found within the city, right? Or are you heading over to the big secrety mountain one?
The little one that doesn't take a couple days to get to.
That's fair. I don't know, you playing shift. No. Yeah. You zoom across town. You arrive easily enough. The first thing you notice, the door is fixed and looks like it's been freshly made. And there is a little, whereas everything out front before, there had been like a little garden that had been like overgrown, and whatever had been growing there that might have been of use or like cultivated had been like left to be reclaimed by nature. There looks like there's a little herb garden that has been started out front.
That's cute.
Like freshly tilled soil, like fresh green, like plants. It is getting more into fall, so this is like late season, but these look like mature plants. Like mature plants have been taken from somewhere else and just planted here.
Cool. I would like to find the person who did this.
Okay.
Head inside, I guess. I mean, yeah, there was a door before.
There was.
Yeah,
It was like it was like moldy and like water like damaged, or like the bottoms of it were, and the like I think it like squeaked when you opened it and stuff. It was basically like, been a while since someone used this. There's some dust in the hinges. So you go up to the door. It looks like it's been like freshly handmade, actually. Like there's a fresh wooden door. It's got that smell to it of like fresh wood, obviously. And when you open it, there is no squeaking. No squeaking to the door. The hinges seem to be like oiled, replaced, repaired, something along those lines.
Things are really looking up. Got a lot of good signs.
That does look much better than it was.
What the other side of the garden bed still completely reclaimed by nature, but one side totally aces.
Well, come on, we can't expect miracles.
Yeah.
Well, from other people.
Yeah. You open up the door, and you can tell that like as it swings open, the sort of like damp smell that had previously existed in here, and like old like mildewy type of like just aroma and feel to it is like gone. The floors and everything seem dry. They look like they've been like freshly scrubbed. And as the door swings all the way open, or are you opening it all the way? Or are you like peeking in?
Oh no, I own the place, so.
I figured. So it swings all the way open. There's like a light source in here, and you see that there's like an oil lamp over on one of the like back tables that looks like it's been repaired. And there is a half orc, looks like a woman. She is kneeling on the ground in the corner that had been like sunken in, that had like that water store in it. And she seems like to be working on something back there. And as the door swings open, she like sits up, like back on her, like, you know, when you're kneeling, but you're like on your toes and you like roll back onto your toes, like you're ready to jump up. Mm-hmm. She's got like a little bit of like dirt or something smudged in her face. She looks like she's in like vestments, actually. And as the door swings open, she like kind of like rocks back onto her toes and looks over at it, and like reaches back, and you see that her hand falls on like a mace that's on the ground behind her.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just returning some books.
Don't mind him. He's just returning books. Hello. My name's Killer Vine. I am a cleric of Denier, and I hold the deed for this building. I just wanted to see who was doing all this fine work that's been done since the last time I was here.
Her facial expression like softens a bit, and she like the hand comes off of the mace and onto the floor, and she kind of like pushes herself up, dusts her hands, like kind of like wipes them on like the vestments a little bit. follower of Denier. Do you have any holy symbols on that are present? Because I know you like have your drift globe out all the time, but is there any other way that somebody could look at you and see, Denier?
Oh yeah, he wears a necklace with the symbol on it. I have it somewhere. I used to wear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she kind of like squints her eyes and looks at you. Brother. And she like reaches in and pulls out a holy symbol of Denier.
Sister, what is your name?
Perhaps we'll share names in a bit. I appreciate you sharing yours.
Okay. Well, with what pleasantries do we need to dispense of before we get to the name sharing? It's odd to me that you don't want to share your name. Just seems weird.
When you travel about, you learn that some things are best left close to the heart until you know that someone has positive intent.
Sure, but you could make one up. Doesn't have to.
Not in the habit of lying.
Fair enough. Though in my experience, truth and lies aren't necessarily opposites. They're more two sides of the same coin.
Can sometimes be a matter of perspective.
Fair enough. What brought you here?
I spend a lot of time around Golden Fields. And met someone who said that there was a roaming prophet of Denier who was teaching people healing arts, saved somewhere from a plague of some kind. And then I had a dream about this city.
I see. Great. That sounds great. That sounds wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you're here.
Innkeep said somebody paid him to restore this library
That's
in the name of
correct.
Denier.
Yes.
Do you want me to hand you the books, or can I? You know what? I'll just go put the books away myself.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no,
You
I
actually.
insist. I'm already walking.
Just ignore him. Just don't even bother with that guy right now. That's a friend of mine. He's, I was going to say harmless. Not exactly true, but he is to you as long as I'm here anyway. So look, I
You the one
appreciate
that put him up to this?
Put him?
The
The innkeep?
yeah.
Yes. As I said before I introduced myself, I hold the deed for this building. So I would like to see it restored.
She reaches out her hand. Can I see it? I'll give it back. Don't worry.
You can see with your eyes and not with your hands, I assume.
Fair.
And he'll pull it out and...
I'm assuming it has like your name on it, kind of thing. Like.
Yeah, it would have like a signature at the bottom of
Okay.
Kale River.
So she's like reading through it, and there's like one eye squinting a little bit. It's like difficult to tell whether she has like problems like seeing exactly, or like maybe the language isn't as familiar to her, or something along those lines. But it takes her a little while to kind of like get through it. Dora. Friends call me Dora.
Okay. Dora, thank you for sharing. Are you satisfied with this?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So, look, how long have you been an adherent to the God of Glyphs?
Years now. Most people around Golden Fields follow Shantea, and I do appreciate the harvest of the earth and bounty and sustenance that it brings, but I like to pursue intellectual endeavors. It's a challenge, and I like that.
I see. Do you have an idea of maybe how many years, or just said years? I would just
4 or 5.
okay.
She
All
looks
right.
like she's probably in her like for a half orc, probably like late 20s, early 30s. Like this is a slightly older individual for their lifespan. Like not middle aged, but like not like young or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Well, I assume that you would like to be paid for your work here.
Helps to live.
I'm sure.
Denier
How-
sent me here. I came. Pay is
How
just
long-
a bonus.
How long do you intend to stay here? Just until this work is done, and then you want to move on?
Guess that depends on if he sends me anywhere else. And you can see, like, as you're like looking in the corner that she was working on, like scattered about this whole place, there's like woodworking tools, there's masonry tools. It looks like she's been working on, like, there was no way to like raise the foundation in the back corner, but she's been like laying stones over it and like smoothing the floor. There's like fresh mortar mixed up. You realize that like the dirt on her face is like mortar that she'd like must have like had an itch or whatever and like wiped her face or whatever, and so it's like smeared across. Like the dampness is gone, the place has been cleaned up. She's been like filling in the cracks in the holes, been like restoring the place. Like work has been put in. This is a skilled laborer who like feels like they have not received anything thus far for the efforts they've put in.
Okay. Does Denier bless you with power through prayer?
He does?
Say, can you invoke the weave through those prayers?
If it's called the Weave, yes. He has gifted me.
Great. Sounds good to me. I'm not even going to roll an insight check. So, here's what I'll do. As owner and proprietor of this building and a fellow adherent to the scribe, I will provide you with these funds, and he'll reach into the bag of holding and he'll call out 100 platinum, and then he'll find somewhere to put it.
There's like the table that she like, you remember most of the furniture here being like pretty ruined, that there was one that looked like salvageable, but it needed some work done to it. This one has seemingly been like restored, and there's like 2 working chairs that have been like pieced back together from the ones that had been like there and like kind of salvageable before. So you can just like
Just
on the table.
drop it. There you go. Take those funds, hire whoever you want to hire, or hire nobody. Do whatever you want with them, but please, at the very least, use some of it to finish restoring this building. And when it's done, I will be very happy about that. Once it's done, if you do a good job, I actually have, well, Denier has another task for you, I think. I think he's put you here for more reasons than you know right now.
You are the prophet, aren't you? That's a lot of money.
I wouldn't call myself a prophet, but
Can
I'm
I
just
still hear
another-
this from over?
What do you say, Taslin?
Can I still hear this from over where I'm?
Yeah, this
putting
is not a
the
big building,
Book of
yeah.
Curses back and.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's totally the prophet.
I'm just another cleric. I'm granted.
Another cleric that totally healed those people in oh, I forgot the place. The Dwarven Kingdom. Mirabar, that's what it's called.
Taslin
I-
would know.
I called it Stinky Dwarf Kingdom, full of dwarves, but
Do you say that?
yeah, I think that's
Oh my god. She said you were humble about it. Or reluctant. It was difficult to say.
You know this just as well as I do. We don't have any actual power. We are just conduits through which Denier acts upon the material plane. That's all. To
Much
that
like
end,
knowledge. It empowers people.
yes, indeed. To that end, empowering people through knowledge. Once this building's restored, are you familiar Are you familiar with the prayer for the sending spell?
I have heard of that one. It has yet to work for me.
All right. Well, I have a feeling.
She can just take my sending stone.
No, we need
I
those.
I know the spell.
I have a feeling, Dora, that once the renovations of this building are complete, you will be able to conjure up the power for the sending spell. And when you can, send to me, and I will respond, and I'll come back, and I will impart additional knowledge unto you in the form of what your next task will be.
I can give it a shot.
Fantastic. So you're in charge of this operation. He'll like take the coins. This is all you. I will go tell the innkeep that you are now in charge, but just in case he gives you any guff, Kale will tear a blank page out of his notebook and write a note that says like, Kale Irvine, holder of the deed to this building at this place in this town on this date, do hereby declare blah 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 legal stuff. He's written shit before.
Contracts, yeah.
Basically, it says that he asks her, "Is that your full name?"
Luman.
Luman.
Doridar Luman. You want me to spell it for you?
I think I got it.
Okay. Well enough, yeah.
Okay. And then basically at the end it just says she's in charge of this operation and has power of attorney over this property while I'm not here.
Power of attorney. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Do you make it like a thing that she signs, or is this more of like a your signature sort of thing?
I'll sign it and then I'll have her sign it also.
Okay. What languages do you know?
Do I have to sign it as a witness?
No, shut up.
I was like, if he puts a witness spot.
Denier is our witness. What languages do I know?
Yeah.
Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Gnomish, Goblin, Orc, and Sylvan.
She signs her name in common. The script is a bit it's not like a child wrote it. It looks different than the sort of person who grew up speaking and writing in common would write. Because you know Orcish, it looks like this is her second language, and her letters are very much influenced by the written language, the way that like Orcish looks when it's written, which is decidedly like more like angular and stuff. And so she writes in common. The lettering that she uses is of the common alphabet, but instead of like a curved C, it kind of has like edges to it and things like that. And it's just something that like is easy for you to like with your passive like perception, investigation, insight, blah 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 blah, and like the languages that you just happen to know a million of them. You're just like bit of a flair on that signature kind of thing.
That's good. It's identifiable. It's more of a mark that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic. I will take this and oh shit, I don't want to go there and then back. You hold on to this. I will go and I will tell whatever the dude's name was, left square bracket name, right square bracket, that I gave it to you and that you have it and that you're in charge now.
I want to say it was like Brendan. I swear I wrote this down somewhere.
Chad.
I'm the worst.
Call him Chad.
He is a Chad. He's
Some
a
other
Chad
white
now.
boy name.
Chad?
At least it's not Thet.
That.
That. Oh. What?
It hurts to say.
Oh, yeah.
I have a list, like, that's the worst thing for me to try to get out without it being, like, eaten by, yeah. Anyway. So you drop the contract, you, like, the ink's still wet, lay it fresh on the table kind of thing. She, like, fans it, like, a few times, like, reads over it, kind of nods. She's got, like, there's, like, a traveler's sort of like get up. There's like a bedroll in a corner. She's got like a backpack. It's got like rope on the side of it. And she goes over to this and she like crouches down. She kind of like digs through it for a second and brings out like a small chest. it looks like it's got enough space in it to fit, because you gave platinum instead of gold. Enough space to fit this inside of it. It's almost like a small lockbox almost. And she pulls out like a key, opens it up. You see, there's like 2 gold coins in there. She takes this whole thing up. She like puts it all up in there, locks it. The key goes back on her. The box goes over, like in her belongings. And she kind of like turns around and nods. I'll have it fixed up soon. They said you were going to send people to help, or you'd hope to.
That's your job now. It looks like you've done a lot of work yourself already. If you think you can finish it yourself and you want to keep all the money, that's fine. But if you need to hire people to help you, you have the funds to do so.
All right.
Okay, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Why here?
Why here? Trying to think of how I want to phrase this. Said it a million times the same way.
She's never heard you say it before.
There's why here? Because this is the place. That's what he would say.
He never says why. He just says where.
The why is not important.
Fair enough.
I believe through this work and through your service to him, you will come to understand faith.
I'll try.
Best of luck. I have faith in you, and Denier does as well. And with that, we exit. Come, Taslin.
As we're leaving, I think I understand Faith more now.
Elaborate, please. EA says
You
as
do
they're walking out.
things that you feel like, not because you want something out of it, but because you just feel it's something you have to do.
It's a lot closer. Keep it up. You're on the right path. And then Kay will fly back to the inn with Taslin, I guess. They'll fly back to the inn.
He just leaves them there. Bye. I'm kidding.
Maybe you'll figure it out by the time you catch up. No. They go back to the inn and they tell Chad, like, hey, Chad, so you're not running the show anymore. Whatever money I gave you, whatever you did with it, it's fine. I don't care. The lady currently working on the library named Doriadar. Is that what it is? Doradar?
Doryudar, yeah.
Doriadar Lumen is in charge of this operation now.
It's kind of like, all right, should I tell them to go check in with her?
Absolutely. Anybody who wants to work on it, go check in with her, and she will vet them appropriately.
Did you ask him for the money back? You said...
No. I told him he can keep it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just kind of nods.
All right. I didn't feel the sincerity in that reaction. So, Kale's gonna just say a word, like breathe a word in Celestial real quick, and he's gonna cast a thaumaturgy spell, and he's just gonna be super loud. He'll say, "You may have been told that there is a construction project being undertaken at the old library up the street in that direction, and this many feet or meters or whatever the fuck." Kale knows the exact distance-ish. Mr. Chad here is no longer the foreman of this project. If you would like to participate and possibly be paid for your work, go there. Go there and speak to the woman there named Dora. The end. I'm just going to leave.
Yeah, people are like finishing up that midday meal, and like several people just kind of like, and you remember their faces from before, a few of them like looking over at you like, but the woman that had been pointed out to you before, she listens to you, and there's a bit of that like, this is really loud sort of like inside this building sort of like look to it. She like nods as she had been like sitting there with her like empty plate in front of her essentially, and begins to like gather the belongings that she had next to her. And that person that had been pointed out in the back before that had kind of seemed like on the fence, like seems sort of like, this is kind of loud, but then they're like, they look like, just with your passive insight, you can see that there's like intrigue on their face.
I could tell. I feel like you really want me to engage with this character.
I mean,
I feel like there'll be great dividends if I do it.
That like, I usually don't have like expectations for things like that. It's more like the theme behind them was that they were like in it for the money, but it seemed like too good to be true. So now that this person who said they were going to come back and actually pay people has come back around the appointed time and said that, like, yeah,
the prophet has returned.
Time. Yeah. Like, it seems like the doubt they had of, I mean, like, you're in this nothing town that had fallen to ruin, and you end up here for whatever reason, and someone's like, pay you good bucks to go fix this library that no one's going to use, and they're like, yeah, okay. But then the guy comes back and is like, hey, there's actually money in it, and somebody's in charge, and it's like, the project is going now, then maybe that person's like, seems legit. So if you feel like, ooh, I need to go talk to this person, do it. If you're like, you know,
I'm good. I'll see him again.
Maybe.
maybe.
Who knows? Maybe you're missing your chance.
That was very loud, and I'm still a little hungover. So next time you want to do that, at least give me some warning so I can move.
Kill's gonna ignore him and walk outside and sit down. He's gonna lay the carpet down on the ground without turning it on. And he's gonna say, before we head back, because I assume you summoned the mansion late at night sometime, right?
I believe it was after we had after you had collapsed the Bishaban temple.
Great. So we got at least 10 more minutes. And Kale will, sitting on the ground on the carpet, he'll pull out his, he's going to whip out his scrying crystal ball.
Yeah. While he's doing that, I'm going to cast water breathing on us.
Okay.
Just us, though? And then you're going to have to do it again later?
The other people
It's a
aren't
ritual.
here. Yeah, I'm going to ritual cast it. Takes 10 minutes, which is exactly the time Gil's going to cast his scrying.
Yeah, Kale's gonna try and scry on the hidden library in the mountains, specifically like wherever that chamber was, where the weird, stuff happened.
Where the darkness was.
Yeah, not in it because it was dark, but like the door, the grand door outside of it and stuff.
Okay. You take out your crystal ball. You engage in the necessary actions to make your spell happen. People can resist. Locations you can scry on if you're familiar or have a description right. That's how it works, but there's no check for that.
Pretty sure, yeah. Particular creature. Oh, well, does it say? So target creature, you can choose a location you've seen before, and it just appears that that location doesn't move. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, you cast a spell, and there's a feeling you get when there's going to be resistance, and you can feel the not Battle of Wills or whatever, but I guess that sort of thing when you're trying to make a spell happen and something feels weird about it, but then it works or it doesn't. And it ends up working. And you're able to, your vision, of the surrounding area leaves you, and it is attuned to the area surrounding that door. You don't remember the door being closed, but it does seem to be closed again. You all had left without mentioning whether or not you had done anything specific with the door. It has been closed. You can see how far around you can you see? It's like a sensor that's placed, but how far is your vision?
I think it's just normal. Like, it's as though I'm there, kind of. So, however
Okay.
far my eyes can see, I guess.
So you are able to see like down the hallway out to where that like water source is, and the like hooved creature, the unicorn-esque, so like earthen sort of creature, seems to be like drinking from the pond. And as they do, there's like movement in the water, and there's like a vague shape that like comes out of it, and they like make like eye contact. Just like there's just like an interaction there. The water takes almost like a humanoid shape, maybe even, and but it's like as if there was like a sheet thrown over someone, maybe just like it like raises up and has like very like smoothed out features, and there's like this interaction, and then the water kind of like backs down into the river, and the thing like drinks from it a little bit again, and then it like makes its way around where the like there's like dampness that's been like leaking down from the ceiling and the damage from above and stuff, and you can see like there's like a little pool of water, and they lean down with the horn, and they like draw like scrape it across the ground essentially, and like that sort of like moss again like grows and like absorbs the moisture from the ground. It's like sprouting up. It's almost like Fern Gully style when Krista would walk and the flowers would grow behind her. It's like that, but it's more like earthen, sort of like water absorby, spongy type stuff.
Okay, so things are going fine. It's not overrun with Bishavan people that teleported there at the last second or something.
Yeah. Seems to
Dope.
be what you assume might have been business as usual before you got there. Kind of hard to say, but you know.
The water thing was weird, but, you know, okay.
And it occurs to you that no one explored that particular facet of it, so, you know, whatever.
Yeah, fine. Everything seems fine. Okay, everything's fine. Thanks. I feel like I can breathe so much easier now. In more ways than one.
I know. It just brightens up your day, I bet. Knowing that for 24 hours you will not drown.
Yep, that's it. That's what's going on. Anyway, you ready to head back?
Yes.
Awesome. He rolls up the... Get off the carpet real quick. And then,
Yep, I'm already off it.
Okay. Picks it up, rolls it up, puts it away, pulls the tuning fork out again. Although, shit. I don't have a tuning fork attuned to his thing.
That's true.
Guess we gotta do water breathing, or plane of water and then back?
I can't do that.
Oh.
Would I? What? Mm-hmm. I feel like the other side of that door was like a different plane of existence, kind of a little bit, maybe demi-plane-ish. The big door in the temple.
You felt like when you first passed through it, you were not in that room. That was, or maybe it was like some really high-level illusion or something that felt like going somewhere else, perhaps. But when that ended, you seemed to be in that room, and that seemed to be connected to everything else, like business as usual.
Okay.
So I was looking this up about the plane shift spell, actually, because I don't think it's necessarily very clear. The components required just say a tuning fork, attuned to a plane. It doesn't specify that you need a tuning fork for every plane. It's almost more like that grounds you to the plane that you like originated from.
Okay.
So I don't think you necessarily need one for every single plane, but I wish that were the case, because I feel like
alternatively, I can also cast the mansion right here, walk in, then plane shift. Right.
That's also true.
Okay, yeah. Well, so to what you were just saying, you're the DM, you can make it be that way. I already assumed it was that way, and I have like 5 or 6 different tuning forks.
If that's the way it's been established, I like that idea better, because otherwise it seems silly. Like, I would think that you would need the tuning fork attuned to the plane to be able to get there,
Right.
not like an anchor. you would need to attune to the plane you're going to. I like that idea better. So let's do it that way.
Cool. So yeah, Kale would come to the good conclusion immediately and just be like, "So Teslin, can you, as soon as you set up the mansion, I'll plane shift us back."
Oh. Okay.
Minor oversight on my part, but
Oh, no worries. I mean, I make
did
mistakes all the time.
you did prepare it today, right? That's
Yes.
fantastic.
And then I cast it.
Okay. Have you ever had to make the tuning? Like, have you ever had to have the tuning forks made, or have you acquired them?
I had them all made. Yeah. Well, I made a bunch of tuning forks, or had a bunch of tuning forks made as just tuning forks, and then when I went to these other planes, I got them attuned through magic. I guess we kind of did it off screen with Eugenio.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you think Taslin, and I don't know if the spell specifies this, I've used Mordecai's Magnificent Mansion a bunch, but this has never in particular come up. Is it the same place that does your demi-plane exist because it's attached to you? And it's like the same space that you create and occupy each time? Or do you think that you're like reaching out into like the astral plane and just like grabbing a bit of it and coordinating it off for yourself? Do you think you like it would be something?
Yeah,
that'd be
I think
possible for
because
him
it's
to do?
temporary, it's something I'm just grabbing and fiddling with for a certain amount of time, and then it just goes back to the ether.
That's kind of how I felt about it too. So I think it would be difficult to make a tuning fork. That might be something that you could look into, like a long-term
I mean,
endeavor.
Yeah, people could fund me, and maybe I'll have like an interdimensional mansion. I'm just saying.
I mean, maybe we could just find a scroll of demiplane, and you could just know that spell.
That's fair.
Because that's exactly how that spell works. It's the same thing every time.
There you go. Anyway, you cast a spell. You're usually able to enter the mansion, and then to get yourself back, you either need a circle to have the exact location, or it's kind of that sort of like variable thing, right, where you might end up somewhere nearby. Do you have a teleportation circle in Westgate?
Nope, not that I know of. Right?
Okay.
No.
And is it even somewhere nearby, or is it just any place on that plane?
Yeah, I think you have to roll for it or something.
No, that's different.
Or am I thinking of just the amulet?
That was just the amulet that's the teleport spell is probably what you're thinking of too. It does that. With this, it's DM discretion basically. So you can specify a target destination and you appear in or near that destination, but it's up to the GM.
Okay. Where do you want to appear?
In Fortune Boon Hall.
Okay. Roll me a 1d100 for the Goddess of Fortune.
1, and then the tens thing. Big 31, baby.
Okay. 1 second. Okay. You say, I want to be in Fortune Boon Hall. And you cast a spell. There's no place like Fortune Boon Hall. There's no place like Fortune Boon Hall. And the spell is like executed. You perform it, you cast it, and you end up outside of Fortune Boon Hall. Like right by the fountain.
Okay.
And what is it? I think we've described this before. Was there like, what does it feel like when you were like teleported through the spell? In your opinion, does it just like poof, you're there, or is there that sort of like slipstream sort of feel to it, like a wormhole? What do you think?
That's kind of what I always imagined. Yeah. Well, okay. I would differentiate between this and like arcane spells. So like since it's a divine spell, it'd probably be more like instead of like you're getting pulled into a thing, you're kind of like hugged. You're being hugged by magic, kind of, and then
you're being guided to it.
And then reality just kind of like it's warm and nice, and it feels good, and then you like it feels like you're doing a front flip, kind of, as it like folds in and then unfolds real quick.
Yeah. And it's almost like the difference between like that comforted and like cold reality almost when you arrive, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God hug's gone. Okay. So you have that sort of gentle feeling of like the transportation taking hold, and you, as the spell takes hold and your like vision fades out and it like comes back and you see the fountain in front of you, that thought pops up to you again, Kale, of you'll have to come here.
Okay. Noted.
And I think, unless there's anything else in particular someone wants to do in the next few minutes, that's where we're going to end it for today. All right. She arrived back. I figure, like, the shopping didn't take longer than that, so you all kind of, like, filter back into Fortune Boon Hall around the same-ish time.
Okay.
And then we'll pick back up next week.
Awesome.
Ayo. Positioning and strategy episode. Hello, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I love streaming D&D games because we all have these experiences and we want to talk about them, but it doesn't make sense to anyone who's not sharing it with us. But you're all here sharing it with us, and I love that. I'm Katie Quixotic. You can find me everywhere as that. I manage some really good branding on accident. If you want to know where and when I'm streaming, follow me on Twitter. This Friday on Scraticus's channel, we are doing a charity fundraiser. Stream, well, Sarah, it's going to be like 24 hours of D&D or something like that, or tabletop games, I should say. I will be DMing at 8 o'clock Central on Friday night. So if you have nothing else, if you don't have any Valentine's Day plans, you can come hang out with us. And we're going to be doing some charity stuff for the sick kiddos. The sick kiddos. And that's the only like special thing I have coming up. I'll let everyone... Oh, and my favorite thing about today, I'm going to go last because I need to think about it. So I'm going to let Tazlin go first.
Hi, I'm Graham, or Graham Crackers. You can find me on the Discord, or occasionally at the Tales of Valeria Twitch channel, occasionally, probably never. Maybe sometimes. You can find me here playing from when we start at 11 to now, when we end. I play Tazlin Evrio, your favorite Shadowfell necromancer, and my favorite part of today was, I think, Kale and Dora speaking, because they have very taciturn manners of speaking. It was just very amusing for me. And now it's Wampum.
You muted, brother.
You muted.
Total moods.
Sorry, people. I am John, the Dwarf of Marabar, Master of the Axe, Enemy of the Drought, Traveler of the Plains. Oops, I'm falling.
Master of the Plains, he's leaving us as we speak.
Uh-oh.
It's cool. We'll fix it in post, man.
Anyway, I am Wampum Thunderbelly of the Selenar. Bye, everybody.
Hey, I'm Casey, KZH on social media, and today I've been the champion of Time Warrior, Impale of the Plains, Heckler, Big Fire Chicken, She Would Fight the Storm Slayer, Shadows, Bane of Bashaba, Nos, the boss of Neverwinter. Thank you. I can also be found on this channel Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. CST, 9 EST, playing in Strands with Carl, as well as Friday nights, 7 p.m. CST, 8 EST, over on twitch.tv/Saverick. You can find me in Echoes in the Ether, which is a Planescape game, also doing with Carl. And my favorite part about today was also Dora. That was amazing. But I will point out specifically the faith talk between Tazlin and Kale, and me and Katie simultaneously started singing a particular song in our heads, and Vinny caught that, and he was like, a guy in the background with a flute just starts passing by.
That was good stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's me. Over to you, V-Spice.
Hi, I'm Beanie. I played Kale, Irvine, Prophet apparently of Denier now. My name on the internet is Scuzzery everywhere. If you see someone in a game and their name is Scuzzery and they're being a huge asshole, that's me. I'm not nice to people on the internet because you're nameless, faceless entities to me. have a lot of pent up anger and aggression that I take out through video games. That's not relevant to anything we're doing here.
No,
I
this
feel
is true.
great. Katie would know we've played League together. I'm actually I like being mean to people who are angry already because it's a game. Chill out. Anyway, my favorite part that hasn't already been talked about was the dream that Kale had. I liked that because I wasn't picturing, I think, the exact right thing at first, but like I had a very vivid picture in my mind of a particular place I've been on a mountain in Alaska. And I could just, when she was talking about the house and the path and everything and the water, and it was very clear in my mind. Even though I wasn't on an island at the time, even though that's how it was in the dream here. Anyway, I'm done. I talked a lot just now. It's Carl's turn.
That's okay. Maybe it was a place you've been before, but it was slightly changed.
What the fuck?
Hi, I'm Carl, and it is my turn. Katie has described things amazingly. My favorite part, as Vinny has already told, is the dream sequence and the imagery that, well, both Kale's dream and Taslin's dream of Sulune in different environments and different manifestations. This thing is really cool. Casey has already said where we can be found, so boom.
So there it is. I think that also my favorite part is definitely the like burgeoning either like interest or faith or pursuance or whatever it is that Taslin is experiencing. It's interesting to see like how his mind works around it, especially someone so detached from the idea of wanting to be associated with any deities for obvious reasons. And so I just really like the way that you go about like this person trying to like figure out if they're supposed to be doing something or whether or not this is something that like maybe they already believe in it and they're not like sure exactly just how faith works or whatever it is that's going in your mind. It's interesting to watch and I really enjoy that. So yeah, and I think Carl has some friends of ours. We're going to raid the welcome. Is it Welcome Party RPG, right?
Yep, it's them.
Yes.
Diana is DMing another installment of Neverland and the Runaways, a Peter Pan type situation.
Yeah.
So stay tuned till after the credits, and we will be delivered there promptly.
Yeah, they're a really inclusive group. I almost streamed with them. They're really cool. You should follow them. Bye, everyone.
Bye.